it's March 28th, 2022. It's my synopsis, my biopsy at the moment. I'm watching ABC David Muir's World News tonight, and they're mentioning the Academy condemns Smith's actions. Formal review started after actor slaps comedian Chris Rock. Now, it's a different context, it's different footage. It actually, and again, I wasn't there, so but the way that they are stitching it together in some different forensics analysis is same event happened, but then P. Diddy jumps up and he says something very interesting. Only way I could say this is that it's the difference for like parallel paradoxes. It's the difference between a spectator. Let's just use Tom Brady for a moment. Not that I've watched his career, but if at a football game, he's the one white guy I know his name of because of Zodiac birthday. But in a football stadium, there's the spectators, and they have one view from far away. The ball usually is very small, at least where I sat. So it's kind of hard to see, like you see it take off, but my eyesight not being the best, hard to see who receives it until it becomes like a big thing and then they start moving. You're like, oh, okay, whatever number that is, because again, I don't know any of the players anyway. And then they run in one direction or the other. That's following the ball, but from afar away. But the refs have a different vantage and viewpoint. And then the coaches have a different vantage viewpoint, and they have a different role they play. As does the ref has a different role, and then the spectator has a different role. And sometimes the one play is not clear necessarily in spectator view, but between the ref, the coach, the whatever went on, something could have been missed, or something gets decided, and then they move on. At this point, there's like, I mean, I wouldn't have even gone to this part. They're like, well, Chris said he doesn't want to press charges. Will apologize to the Academy. LAPD said, Chris said he doesn't want to press charges. We're not getting involved. And that's it. It moves on. So that's it. But then I heard on this View thing today, Lynn was putting it on, and I'm just like, oh, God, it's like they go into these, they go into these scenarios, like these other facets and like little intricacies, and you're just like, oh my God. But anyway, so there's the version of the what happened, who was involved in it, and then P. Diddy gets up and says, almost like a ref or a coach, he's like, we'll go through it at the goal planning, whatever, afterwards. And then the comedian, the white chick comedian, I forget her name, she gets up and she's just like, she's like, did I miss something? Yeah, you did. About 100-something years of an ongoing terrestrial fight, and it's got a lot of moving parts. They don't really talk about it unless there's like imminent danger. And then they like to confuse one another. It's a whole psychological torture game that like some people really get off on in like important people things. And then they try to like whatever in between.
Get my name out your mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
And just because you're in the same academy, there's studios of severity even though it might somehow be in this award area.
That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
Rock collecting himself, then continuing with his category. Diddy taking the stage next.
Okay, Will and Chris, we're gonna solve that like family at the gold party.
Right, that definitely sounds like a real sporting event call by someone who's like, let's not get this any more heated than it needs to be, where you are on camera and there are other people around.
Okay, but right now we're moving on with love.
The whole incident leaving host Amy Schumer to then say,
"Did I miss anything?"
That's me about a whole lot of headlines and titles lately. Like, I don't know what your Succession cruise and whatever. I'm still trying to piece together this revolting American revolution and evolution and why my name appears in some CIA mention of Jason Bourne after a whole meltdown of like a third kind between alien phenomenon and then stuff that you guys know but you don't even ever know the whole story of the intricacies of working things.
There's like a different vibe.
This is like the play pretend, but at some level it's real.
Vibe in here.
Tonight, the New York Times reporting that according to sources, there were serious discussions about removing Smith from the theater in the 45 minutes between the altercation and the award for Best Actor.
Which is really strange because it doesn't seem to be this ongoing, like, MMA type brawl. It seems like one slap. It's again.
Instead, Smith back on stage to a mostly standing ovation, winning his first Oscar for King Richard, the story of Venus and Serena Williams and their father's role.
Richard Williams was a fierce defender of his family.
Smith suggesting he, like Serena and Venus's father, was now protecting his family.
Art imitates life. I look like the crazy father, just like they said.
Also sharing what fellow Oscar winner Denzel Washington.
There is a parallel. Just gotta throw it in there. For my area of the interconnected poles of international thing, they go by CIA, and I don't know if that's the law firm for the White House or if that's what the Pentagon does. The Pentagon, is that the, like, judge's chamber for what all the kids at the Centrally Intelligent may or may not have gotten right, and they make the determination of final call. It gets, because again, I'm so removed from it, I'm working from like a movie perspective, trying to thatch myself a reality on how it works. And so I'm thinking there could be parallel to everybody's like trying to get the wrong player. It's a White House. It has a family heritage, lineage, and history. It has an importance in the North American territory, for certain, in keeping the peace, the safety, and some inner workings. When there is a distinct change in the look of the White House that sends distinct flares of insecurity in places that need to have solidarity. So there could be some parallel drawn, perhaps, between trying to defend one's wife, trying to defend one's position, on how crazy you look really does depend on the field for which you are defending at this point, which there was no excuse, as far as I'm concerned, for this turnover and allowance of such thing, because it sends the wrong message to elsewhere. But it does, I mean, there's other ways to wake up the nation. It did not have to be this drastic, and I don't even know. I've in-depth perception. I sit at the dinner table, and it's difficult because Lewis is just like, I love chocolate. And then I really feel like I'm displaced in Crazy Town by myself. With a couple of movie credits to my name, which I don't know if they're a hindrance or if they're a help from the play pretend and get paid a lot of money, which I'm not even a part of, in storytelling that I think has gone off the beaten path a time or two. But it's an interesting reaction, and of course now everybody's talking about it, so it's depth perception survey time in aftermath.
Told him during a break.
Denzel said to me a few minutes ago, he said, at your highest moment, be careful, that's when the devil comes for you.
Smith apologizing to the Academy, but not to Rock.
I want to apologize to the Academy. I want to apologize to all my fellow nominees.
In recent years, Jada Pinkett Smith opening up about her struggles with hair loss. It's unclear if Rock knew.
So for me, it's panicking safely in the Fortress of Solitude of One. I'm not out there speaking to and gaining whatever. There's real specific problems, and there's some things that have been taken out of context. I heard Kardashians going on about women needing to work harder. I'm like, again, these are spin-off conversations. These are just depth perception substrates. But perspective does help, and contexture granulate helps. For OCD purposes of orient, center, and then direct. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.